Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, my friends. The season is slowly over. It's getting hot. People part. People come here in search for self-realization. Why should anyone come here? The essence is everywhere the same. When we come here, we are not different from being anywhere else. And yet, in manifestation, how that one essence is expressing itself, that differs from place to place. The essence is always the same, and we can access the essence anywhere. And yet people are drawn here looking for self-realization, looking for guidance, looking for help in their struggle. Why? Something is pulling people here. Since time immemorial, this has been a place with a special energy. Some people think, and there are also traditional stories like that, that you just have to come to Arunachala and Arunachala will do the job. If you don't go away beyond 30 kilometers and you stay the rest of your life here, then you will be saved, liberated. It doesn't quite work like this. We have to make that decision that we want to be aware of the essence. We can never be anything else. We are that. And yet we have forgotten, and somehow or other we have to make that effort to catch the attention and bring it back home to that beingness, to the essence, to that which is at the base of every experience. And if somebody comes here and sincerely does that, there is a lot of support. Then people go away after the season, and often people express to me, oh, I'm a little afraid. How is it going to be if I'm away again? But one need not be afraid. If one has developed that connection with that energy that is manifested here at Arunachala's feet, at Arunachala, which is Arunachala, then even if one goes away, one can carry that memory and connect with that energy easier just because that experience is there. Remember Arunachala wherever you are, and then again you are tuning into that same energy that is helpful, that makes it easier to come back to the beingness, the ground, the essence, to that divine essence. Now we are looking for self-realization, and then we are being told you are already dead. The self is already real. That divinity is already real. We need not realize it. We just have to become aware what is already there. But that we have to do relentlessly. The habit is so strong to pull the attention away, and then the whole world functions in a different way, and it has the tendency that we tune in that current, that mental current of humanity, and everything wants to pull the attention away from that, because that's the usual way, the usual state of existing. For that we have to make that sincere and profound decision. I want to spend my time catching my attention and bring it back to the source, and do that on and again and again until it sticks. If that decision is there, then a place like Arunachala may be very helpful. But even, as I said, somebody who has been here and goes away and remembers Arunachala, that help comes also there. Anyhow, that help comes anywhere. It's just in some places the pull to divert the attention from that is even stronger than in other places. And so it can be helpful to periodically spend some time in a place like this. Somebody who goes to live with a guru goes for the same reason. But even somebody who lives with a guru has to make that decision for oneself. Like Arunachala, the guru helps, the guru supports. Then, as another advantage from Arunachala, the guru can also talk and give direct advice. But still, that can bear fruits. The one who comes to a place like this, who comes to a guru, has to sincerely decide for themselves. That is what I want. That is really what I want. I don't want to just find an alternative way of existing because I'm not so feeling not so comfortable in society. Many people do that. They don't feel so comfortable, and then they look for an alternative way of living without really deciding, I want to go for the essence. That decision has to come from us, from each one. And we have to renew that decision again and again. It is that one thing that is really worth. Nothing can compare to that. That doesn't mean everybody has to become now ascetics and spend their whole time simply doing spiritual practices. One can pursue one's career in the world, but there it's even more important that awareness is there. Okay, I can play my role, I can go for it, whatever role I'm playing in this theater, but whatever I'm doing, wherever I am, whatever is happening, it's important to remember to bring the attention back home, be aware. This is just a temporary experience, the human experience. Before that, you are. During that, you are. After that, you are. And you are not a person, you are not this human being, you are that which makes the experience possible. Expressing yourself right now in a human form, as a human being. But even right now, you, that being, is not really incarnated. It's timeless, spaceless, pure divinity, pure light. And we can, even during the appearance of the human form, we can bring the attention back to that. So the self is real. We don't have to realize it, but we have to become aware that it is there all the time. And that we can call self-realization. Realize that what we are not, that this person is just an expression. It's not apart from the self. The body is not apart from the self. I am not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect. It's just one way to detach from those levels, but they are not apart from the self. They are expressions of the self. And we can use them on their own level, but at the same time be aware I am timeless, I am birthless, deathless, I am that pure divinity, I am that which makes the experience possible. I don't have to achieve that. I just have to learn to bring the attention back to that and become aware. It is here, it is now, it is not somewhere else. It's not at the end of a long journey. We can make that in a goal, but the goal is not far away. The goal is here now, in the timeless present. You are that Tatvamasi. It's a fact that is there, unshakable all the time. It's not for some people that this is true, and for some people it is not true. It's not only for some advanced sadhak that this is a reality. It is true for everybody and everything. The base of it, that which makes the whole creation possible, that which makes all the experiences possible, is that living essence, the divine essence. And it's never absent, we just have forgotten. And the job is to become aware what is. And it may look sometimes as a tremendous task to just learn to catch the attention and bring it back, because the habit is so strong to get pulled away from it, to get divided, to get all over the place, except of being focused on that sense of presence that is prior to all it. But it looks only like a tremendous work if we take it as a heavy burden, as a task. If we learn to bring that playful aspect in it, then it doesn't look like a heavy burden. Then we can playfully go through our life, go from day to day, do whatever we have to do, at the same time playfully remind ourselves, connect, be here, be now, and let go. Relax, relax, relax. We holding on to that stuff. We are holding on to our past emotionally. We are holding on to our ideas. What is, what I am, what the world is. We are holding on to our opinions, that me and the others, and we, who is right. We are holding on to all that. We just have to learn to relax. That is the detachment the tradition is talking about. Let go, relax, relax. So along with the memory, to connect, to find one way to help to catch the attention and bring it back to that which makes the experience possible, along with that remember and relax. Let go. And then it becomes playful, a joyous journey instead of a heavy burden that we somehow have to accomplish in this life. And the more we are doing that, the more the life is full of light and creativity. And the beauty, that inner beauty is expressing itself. And the more at the same time, something beautiful flows through that manifestation, through that expression on this level in the world, and helps other beings to make it a little bit easier to do the same. Let's live like this. Let's breathe like this. Let's feel like this. Let's talk like this. Let's act like this. That everything is always expressing that inner beauty. And then the whole story makes sense. Okay. I stop talking just by myself. And I'm addressing you, my friends. Is there anyone who would like to come in? You're welcome to do so.
Hello.
Hello, Leela.
I'm a little bit sick. So I don't know if I'm connected or disconnected, or if I'm present or if I'm repressing my emotions about the events. I do feel connected, very connected actually, more than ever. Being able to discern also, and to also I feel that I'm able to, to discern, this is no, this is yes, like really very clear about what needs to be done, or what needs to be said, or what does not need to be said. And now the emotions are rather, I know they exist, all the difficult emotions, huge pain and huge sadness and despair and at the same time, I can see the beauty. Like actually last night I made a small painting, and I looked at it and then I gave it a name, like chaos and hidden beauty. This is how I felt, what I felt from the painting. And the hidden beauty, both chaos and hidden beauty came from me out with the colors. And so I'm just describing. Also, one more thing about a good friend who said to me the other day on a casual talk on the phone, she said that she didn't care about 100 or so people that will die. Yeah, the kidnapped people. She'd rather if she'd rather if there is a war, a big war. Otherwise, Israel will not survive. That really shocked me. Yeah, it made a shift. It really created a shift in me. I don't know I can't explain it. Just can't understand.
You can't understand. Or what did you say?
Sorry?
I didn't understand. You can't understand.
I can't understand how can somebody feel that way. That it's okay that these people never come back, dead or alive, because we don't know. We have no idea. And Israel will never be the same if Israel is not so great now, but still it had some values, society here. It will never be the same if we don't do all we can do to bring them back. And it's not politics that I'm talking about. It's more, I don't know what it is, but it's not politics really, for me anyway.
Yeah.
So it puts all of us, but specifically me, in a challenge. I'm so challenged emotionally. Yeah, just one more thing. And I can just say that part of me is good with this. Part of me can see that through the challenge, living through this challenge, good things are happening. I'm developing.
Yeah.
Or I don't even know if developing my language is. Yeah, I don't even know how to say what, but maybe you understand.
Right. Anyhow.
Because I don't feel I have to develop, and I am already developed, but yeah, something is purer, maybe more pure.
Well, on a certain level, there is development. Essentially, you need not develop. Essentially, you are that purity. The experience keeps on developing and unfolding, and there's no end to it. So something does develop. And yes, trying situations like this, one can be totally depressed by it or outraged by it or totally overwhelmed by it, or one can make use of that intensity to be that much more alert, self-aware. And then even if such things happen, like that friend talks like this to you, then you can understand, of course, there is such an energetic turmoil going on, and it's scrambling people's clear thinking and clear perception, and all kinds of ideas come out, and hatred comes out, and all this stuff. But the job is not to go around and try to change them, but in spite of that, then everything that is happening, the good thing can be inspiring, that we also go in that direction. And when we see negativity, then this is also a teaching. Okay, not down that alley, that's no good.
I didn't understand the last phrase. You said negativity and then not down this.
Negativity is also a teaching, but not like if you see somebody overflowing with goodness, then that's a teaching that you can get a direction, a pointer. And negativity is a pointer in the sense that you see how people may start to function, and you become that much more clear and decided, no, that way is not good. Going down that alley, as said before. So in an intensity, energetic, intensive situation like that, then of course people can get quite nuts with what they start to think. But that in itself is in a teaching that in that intensity, it's that much more important that I'm keeping alert and bring the attention back to that essence that is not affected. And then even a negative situation can become very helpful in that unfoldment. And that unfoldment is there, not essentially, but unfoldment is there in the experience of it. The two traditional teachings who seem to be somehow contradictions, that you are already that and nothing can change in that, and then the other teaching that something keeps on evolving and evolving and evolving, they are not contradiction. Essentially, you stay what you are, and at the same time, the experience of that divinity, that purity, and the capacity to manifest and express it keeps on unfolding and unfolding. So there is also that unfoldment.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I just feel also that it's very difficult for me to use the language that I'm used to,
Yeah,
either Hebrew or English,
yeah,
because the words seem to lose their power. I mean, it's, yeah, the words seem to lose their power somehow. When people say they're speechless, so painting is a good way for me to express, or just like expressing love, you know, with my grandchildren and my family and my neighbors and whoever, just expressing love and generosity and yeah, good manners and so. But if I want to express in words as I used to, I can't. I just can't. There is no way to express.
right. So you paint.
Yeah,
Very
right.
good. Very good.
The language is poor.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So that's it for now.
That's it for now. I wish you a lot of strength.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Hariom.
I'll,
Hariom.
I'll pass it on.
Is there anyone who would like to come and say something? You're welcome. Every life situation is a possibility that right now I can connect. And we prefer harmonious, beautiful life situations. Why? Because it's natural. The essence expressing in a natural, balanced way is harmonious, beautiful. But then, whatever is happening, if we are not getting swept away by what is happening, completely immersed in it and emotionally totally hooked, and forgetting that prior to that there is something that is not affected by it. If we are not forgetting that there is something that is not affected by it, then even a very negative situation is a moment that we can use to go that much deeper into our own resources. The me personality will immediately resist and say, no, it's not good. It shouldn't be like this. And on this relative level, it's true. A lot of things are not good and should not be as the way they are. But we need not hook our attention on that level and get emotionally stuck, but we can make use of the tension there is to catch our attention and go that much deeper in our own resources. By doing so, we forego the usual way of acting and reacting of the me personality. And the very fact of doing so brings the attention that much deeper into our own resources. Every life situation can be used as a wake-up call, as a call. Look, you're conscious, you're alive. And there is that base, that sense of presence that is prior to the experience, that is there making the experience possible, that is there when the experience is gone. There is that call from that side to come back home with the attention. Chaotic, intensely negative situations, of course, they are tempting that we are just completely getting lost in it. But if we have learned to step a step back, if we have learned not to simply mindlessly go along with whatever impulse is there in the mind, but to see what is happening, then no matter what is happening, one can go back here now in the weirdest situation. Connect and relax. Connect and relax. And fill the space with something beautiful, creative, harmonious. If we can, it's fine to arrange the surroundings that they are conducive, that you have a reasonable amount of calm. If we can't, because of the circumstances, that is not the reason to despair. That is not the reason not to do so. We can do so anywhere, all the time. Okay, I'm asking again, is anyone who would like to come in? You're welcome to do so.
Hello.
Hello, Andreas.
How much willpower do you have to use to become present in, like, because a lot of times I feel like, oh, I just like to have some entertainment and not, it's sometimes it feels a little bit like work to bring yourself back, and that's the question.
It feels like work because the, the habit is so strong to do the opposite. And then when we go for entertainment, then out of habit, it's easier to relax because we feel somewhat comfortable with that entertainment. Now, The bringing back the attention looks like work because we have not learned simultaneously to relax in it. And the more we learn that, the less it feels like work. And then still, you need not necessarily do spiritual practices the whole day long, day in and day out. You can also entertain yourself, and anyhow, you have also your work, your profession, but you can learn to bring the attention also there back when you're entertaining yourself and when you're doing your job without getting the feeling that it's hard work to do so if we learn to relax in it. You asked about will. The will is there that we decide to do so. The will is there that we try again and again, but it's not so much an act of will, of connecting. It's more remembering and letting go all the stuff that we are holding on to at that moment. One can use the will momentarily, okay, control a moment, but then it's better to let go. Because if one holds on to the will, the tendency, the general tendency is that when we're using willpower, we are also getting all tense. And if we keep that tension at a certain moment, it's getting too much and one explodes. So we first have to learn to be aware and relax. And if that capacity of relaxing is there, even when we use the will, then we can engage the will directly. But basically, the will is there that intent, that sankalpa is renewed all the time. I want to remember. I want to be in touch with that. And then keep going. But the act itself, you need not so much use your willpower, but rather just remember and then simply do it. Simply connect.
Well, I'm not 100% sure that I do the right thing, but I know better now to relax and drop a little bit my usual mental like engagement in like daydreaming.
Yeah.
I just realized that I like entertainment usually I'm much more caught up in like I'm not so centered or I'm caught up in my inner dialogue. And so I the question was, should I mean, do more like to form the situation in a certain way that I do activities that are more conducive to being centered or like being aware. It's well, usually entertainment. Usually, I get caught up in a movie or in a game or watching football or anything. It drags me away, and I'm not really present. And I would say so.
Yes. And of course, if you do your meditation, you are more intensely present usually than when you are watching a game or when you are watching a movie. But then you can, when you start the movie, you can put that intent there that you try to be alert and see what is happening. See what the movie emotionally is doing to you. That you observe what the emotions that are going on, and then this becomes more and more practice. But sure, by all means, do your practice, have your time where you are putting your undivided attention to that. But then you don't have to force yourself to do only that. You can also have a bit relaxed period by entertaining yourself. But you can learn to entertain yourself, that you are not just wasting your time away, but to learn also be alert and present while entertaining. When you're playing your game, that you learn to be aware of the breath at the same time and relax.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it is like when I watch a movie or a game, like if you watch a football game and you stay centered and then you think and watch the emotions, then you think, oh, this is not so important. It's just a meaningless waste of time, and yeah, you should get involved too much into it.
Right, you may also lose the interest in watching football. That can happen, but you may also continue watch sometimes football. But then the more you learn to be alert right there, also, the less it's like a totally different experience, whether you are practicing or not practicing officially.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's always good advice to keep on practicing every day for some time.
Yeah, I will see.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Hario.
Thanks. I will.
Hario. Is there anybody else who would like to come in? Okay, let me say one more thing to that, which Andreas now just touched. When you hear me talking like this, connect with the essence, one can maybe understand from that then basically we should practice all the time, meditate all the time, do spiritual practices all the time. If somebody sincerely wants to do so and feels like doing so, then yes, then it is the right thing to do. But if that doesn't come naturally and we keep on forcing ourselves because we think that's what we should do, then it goes for some time and then the man gets so in tension and fed up with it that maybe it would have been better to be a bit gentler, a bit slower with that attempt and then steadily go on. What counts is that we learn to be in the present. And it helps very much if we have every day some time where we are doing nothing else, where we can put the undivided attention to that. But then if it doesn't come natural, that after that you just go on and on, sitting, meditating, and doing other spiritual practices, then if one forces that about, there is not much constructive help coming out of that. For most of the people, it's much more advisable to have their time where they can withdraw, and that can be less or can be more. And then be active, be with friends, be busy, entertain yourself, do your work, but bring that attitude as good as you can. That attitude of being in the present, of being aware of that sense of presence that is not affected by what is happening in all those activities. And we may completely get lost in the situation for some time, but then the moment you remember, you just reconnect. No big fuss, no big sermons to oneself, but just renew the intent. I want to be connected. And then the external life may not change much because of that, but the way we are experiencing that and the way we are making use of every situation, that is changing. The more we do so, the more finally everything becomes spiritual practice. But be natural, be playful, be nice to yourself with a reasonable amount of self-discipline that helps, but it's not necessary to torture oneself. And then everyone has to find for themselves what is the right balance. And deep down in our heart, we know, we get the impulses, what is right for us and what is wrong. And if it's right, feels right, that in between, we have a bit of lighter time with some entertainment, and then there is no harm in that. Do it as consciously as you can. And then we can learn to find our way how to remind ourselves. Like I said to Andreas, just learn to breathe consciously when you watch a game. Learn to breathe consciously when you watch a movie. And learn to relax no matter what is happening. And then that comes more and more easy and more natural. Is there anyone else who would like to come? You're welcome to say something.
Hi, again.
Leela is back. Yes.
Yeah, it just like rings a bell, something I've been thinking of about what you just said now, and all the wondering, the questions we have about the practice. And my experience is that all of a sudden I became an adult. I mean, because the way we grow up is there's so many things where we are told as children, but also as adults, to things that are okay to do and things that are not okay to do. As
Yes.
if there is something who knows better than me. Not me, Liora, but me, Lila, but me, oh, maybe yes, me, as the person who is connected to all the ideas in the society and all that. Because recently I've been feeling that I am now free of all that. I'm now an adult.
Yeah.
It has something to do with my age, but also I feel that it's a kind of spiritual growth and development. All of a sudden, looking behind me and to the side and seeing who here knows better. I mean, we all know better.
Mm-hmm.
We can learn from anybody. We can learn from anybody. And now you are my main teacher, but I've had so many teachers. Yeah, maybe Lila was my main teacher also, but still, I've met so many teachers all over the world, and they all know things great, but really, one day we become adults or not. One day we become the one who knows. And I think even I remember you saying to people, there's no mistake. Or Lila says it, I don't know who says, there's no mistake. As long as I don't hurt anyone or myself. the inner speech can be really, really sometimes hurtful, really.
Yes.
And that goes, of course, that projects also to the outside.
Right.
But really, one of the good results, sadly said, of the situation in Israel now is this kind of development of realizing that I'm an adult.
Right. Actually,
I know.
It would be very, very necessary that people would become adults like this and stop doing what they are being told, and then this kind of situation couldn't even happen because it's unnatural to do this kind of stuff. It's unnatural to go to war. It's unnatural to shoot at people. It's unnatural to, and yes, we are being conditioned from the childhood. In order to be a good citizen, you have to be like this and this and this and this. And one thing is to always very meekly obey what we are told to do. We don't have to unnecessarily create trouble all the time. But it is good that we learn to follow what comes from the heart, what we feel is right, and not the conditioning that tells us in order to be a good, accepted citizen, I have to behave like this. If you feel like behaving differently from the conditioning because it comes from your heart, then it starts to be a real expression of yourself. Before we are being trained to be mainly robots who just have been programmed to behave in certain ways, and like because whole humanity is functioning like this whole catastrophe that is happening all over the world is possible. If people would become adults, as you describe it, and be in tune with themselves, then they would, in so many situations, just say, hey, no, this is not possible. We cannot comply to what is being expected from the authorities. It is destructive. It is destructive for life. It's against all the natural instinct for somebody who is in tune with the essence.
Yeah, I'm thinking, trying to imagine a world where we live without having to protect all the time, to defend. Mine, this is mine, this land is mine, this history is mine. And yeah, how would the world look if we were, like you described, if we were all adults? Maybe, I don't know. I didn't think it was connected, but now listening to you, yeah.
Right.
It'd be nice.
It's good to learn to be true to yourself. And yes, I have said, don't be afraid of making mistakes. Because even something that we later come to understand, it was not the favorable choice. Then we are richer for the experience. The more you are natural, the less rules you need, because you are not, it's unnatural to go out and hurt people unnecessarily, to go out and hurt living beings unnecessarily. It's unnatural. It's simply because we have, with our attention, gone so far away from our natural state that these things are happening. But the more you are true to yourself, the more you just, the first law is to express yourself in a beautiful way. as it comes from yourself, from your inside. And then, of course, when many people live in the same place, we have to make adjustments. That is also not a problem. The problem is that people are not being trained to learn to think by themselves, to learn to be in tune with themselves, to learn to be natural. People are trained to become very unnatural and then just go along with whatever is the current party line.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Hario. Hario.
Carry on.
Is there anybody else who would like to say something?
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Nelly.
I want to ask about to be conscious in everyday life. And what do you think? Is it necessary to do one thing, one moment? So I see that sometimes for example, if I eat, I can listen to some audio, or when I do yoga, I can listen to something else. And sometimes I found myself that I didn't catch what what was talked, and I slide in my thoughts, or maybe I'm not so conscious in eating when I'm doing something else or talking with someone. So what do you think about that?
It's maybe better not to divide the attention too much, but that doesn't mean you can always do only one thing. But not push and push that modern trend of multitasking, doing many things simultaneously in order to be more of an efficient human being. When you do yoga, do yoga. When you do something, do that. Be here, be now. But there are many things you can very well do and listen to something simultaneously and still be connected here now. The connection is not so much that you are always focused on exactly what is happening. That it's not that we have to be fixed on what the sensations are, what we are seeing, smelling, hearing, and then always being fixed on that. It's a very good way to bring the attention to the present. For example, you hear something, then instead of being busy interpreting what exactly it means and what it was, just the fact that you're hearing, you become aware that hearing is there, and it brings you right to the present, and then not more so much be stuck on the superficial level and relax and come back to that which makes the experience possible. And that you can do when you're busy. It may be easier when we're sitting quietly, but gradually we can bring that more and more also quite easily into our day-to-day life. If you feel doing 2 or 3 things simultaneously and you feel it's right, you still can relax in it and be present, fine. But basically, don't divide the attention too much, but rather do one thing after the other.
Yes. Okay. As I see that it's very difficult for me to, for example, to eat when I sit with someone else, and and it's difficult really to talk and to eat simultaneously. Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult to eat, or it's difficult to be conscious of the present. What do you mean? Just that I understand what you're saying.
I mean to do two subjects one moment. So if I talk with someone, it is I can hear what the person tell me, understand this. But when I eat, I feel taste of the food. I can enjoy it, and when I do it simultaneously, I see that I can't enjoy the food so much. I don't. Yes, intention, it goes in different ways, and I don't enjoy so much. Maybe I should do it another way. I don't know how, because many people always eat and talk, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Actually, the Indian traditional way is that while eating, you keep quiet and you just eat. In many ashrams, they also asking people to do so. But in the Western type of society, we have grown up to do exactly the opposite. That's the one time people come together and talk together and eat together. And of course, if you talk, you may be less aware of all the nuances of the taste of the food. But it's not important whether you are now always totally aware of all the little details in the food. What is the main importance, whether you are talking or whether you are watching the senses, what the food is like, that you go also a step further and relax in it and become aware of that living presence, that living force that makes the whole experience possible. So follow your instinct. If you prefer to eat alone, then eat alone. But if you sit together with people, then don't feel bad about being not always aware of all the exact details. What is important that you keep the touch with yourself. And eating consciously is certainly one way of bringing the attention to the present. But as I said, don't get them totally stuck on the level of the sense perceptions, but relax in that awareness of being present and eating, and become aware of that living presence that makes the whole experience possible.
Yes, I see it's better to watch my breath when I eat something. So to be here now, to try to return in this moment. Don't stuck on all these tastes or something else.
You can very well use the being aware of the taste. It brings you right to the present. But then just don't get too much stuck on the level of the sense perception, and just relax. If you don't want to bother to become aware of the breathing while eating, it's not so easy, because the breathing is invariably irregular. But that you tell yourself, relax, and automatically your attention also sinks deeper.
Okay, yes, I try. By the way, I want to share today my meditation. I found out that today I didn't pay so much attention to my breath, but I just sitting and feeling my body and something, just sitting, more just sitting, not so much, yes, watching breath, but these sensations, some tensions, and just try to relax. If I can't relax, I try, but or just watch, and I felt some kind of easiness, so that I don't need to do anything. I just sit and just feel, and something. Yes, it's interesting feeling. Yes.
Sure. Watch your breath as a means to bring the attention to the present. And that you can do whether you are sitting or whether you are walking. But then in the meditation, when it spontaneously comes that you are not more so busy with the attention of the breath, but just being consciously in the present, then you need not think, oh, I have to bring the attention back to the breath. You can stay in that moment and relax in that, but be alert, because then if you develop a good feeling in a meditation like this, then it becomes very easy to also start to dream away on that level, in that feeling of well-being. And then we are stuck a little bit there. Nothing wrong. Have this nice feeling. Nothing wrong, feeling good. But then not settle down and just float away with that. But in spite of that, remain aware and present. But if you are in that state of awareness, of presence, you need not force yourself again at that moment to put the attention on the breath. But you can keep it as a means to catch the attention and bring it back. When you become aware that you are consciously disconnecting, although you are connected, that consciously in your conscious experience, you are so disconnected, then to continue to be aware of your breath is a very good means to do so, to reconnect.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
But,
it was.
But if you sit and spontaneously you feel in that situation not to bother about the breath because you are intensely aware and intensely present, then but stay with that and don't disturb it with thinking that you have to come back to the breath there.
Yes, and it was just like you say, when I felt myself that I go in my thoughts, I again began to watch my breath. So it happens,
Right.
like, yes, really, it's very helpful. Yes, it's needed to to have this instrument. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yes, and use it like this, and then it's perfect.
Thank you. Okay, Werner. Thank you very much.
You're
Hari Om.
welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om. Often I'm saying to people, find your way to remind yourself to connect. And it doesn't matter what it is. Something that helps you to bring the attention to the present within the current of time, within manifestation, but then let's not get stuck in the manifestation, in that experience. But we need not do much more, but just be aware and relax. And automatically the attention goes deeper. And then if we have our means, it can be the question, who am I? Who is experiencing this? Who is thinking? And it brings you right back into the present, touching that sense of presence. But then when in meditation, this is happening, or even when you're walking down the road and this is happening, and there is an intensity and a clarity and a peace, then we need not hold on at that moment to that means to bring the attention. Not hold on to the question, who am I? Not forcing to be aware of the breath, not forcing to repeat the mantra or whatever one uses to connect. Often very powerfully, it just manifests. And then we can just stay with that. Open. Keep the alertness. And then if the mind is going off again, we can use the instrument that we have been using. It's not that we have to use that instrument now on and on and on and on without ever breaking it up. It's just different people have different affinities, but it's good to have something very simple that we can apply no matter whether we are sitting in meditation or whether we are very busy in a crowd. Is there anybody else who would like to say something? Andreas is back.
I'm not really anybody else. I'm the same. But I guess not very many people want to say something. So this, like, I'm very grateful that you say you shouldn't stick so much with the, like, for me, it was the breath and always remain with the breath. But like when when I get conscious, for me, it's a lot of times like I breathe out very deeply and like it's a very relaxing breath. But very soon, or like in this, I feel that I might be present for a moment, and this is as good as I can connect right now. But very soon, thoughts come in. It's always like, do I do this right? Is this the right way, or should it's it's very hard for me to stay simple and present, and yeah, very quickly thoughts come in, and I feel there's no, like, for me there's no like distinct way where I can, like, watching my breath is something that is how to do it, and the others, like the presence, is not, there's no real how to do it, and I cannot really say, oh, this is the right way I do it, which is a very strong thing in me. So I always get thoughts drag me out.
Yeah.
That's, I don't, you hear the question?
Yes.
Yeah, it's about like that the for me, as for where I am right now, the sense of present isn't, I'm not really sure if I'm how to do it or how to do it right. And so if I get a little bit of presence, the thoughts drag me away, and I follow my thoughts very quickly again. And I think then I'm not so present anymore, because then I'm in my thoughts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there, when you become aware of that, there you can use your means again and redirect the attention to the breath instead of trying to solve the puzzle with your mind. In trying to figure out, am I doing it right or not? There is not really such a thing like doing it right or doing it wrong. Either you're connecting or not. And sometimes it works better and sometimes less. But it's not that you have to find the perfect way to connect. And only that is right. Connect and relax. Connect and relax. And then for most of the people, what you are describing is exactly how it is. That just because of the habit that we have been thinking all the time, and we live in a society where everybody thinks all the time. So we are in the midst of that of all the human minds. Then for most of the people, the experience is, as you say, even if there is presence, then the thoughts start again. And there, don't get interested in the thoughts and think you have to solve a puzzle, like tricking yourself by thinking, have to figure out whether it is right or wrong, whether it's perfect or not, whether it's the right way of being in the present, it's the right way of connecting. This is all another trick than to go off in the mental level again, because somehow that me that we are identifying with feels threatened by simply being, and then simply slips out again and recreates and tries to sound very spiritual about it, but it's escaping that simple naked being, because we want to get beyond the personality, but we have been identifying for so long and it feels so familiar. It may be often painful, but at the same time it feels so cozy that when you just are, then suddenly the personality starts to crumble. And the one trick is that you immediately start to think about it. And then a very clever trick is to think about your meditation and trying to analyze it, whether it's right or wrong. And there, don't go along with the mind when you catch yourself and try to figure something out, but just redirect the attention and again to the breath and relax. And it brings you back.
I have the suspicion that when I have like good meditations, like at like around about like 45 minutes or so, I get much more present. And a lot of times it is like that. I feel very present, and then my mind says, "Oh, this is good enough now. We
Right.
can stop. Time is over."
Right.
Is that the trick of the me that it's like it doesn't want to get lost?
Right. You don't have to force yourself to go on and on and on and on, but this feeling comes very quickly, right? That okay, that's enough. Like, like it's getting too scary, too dangerous to stay in that place. And then, as an argument, I done my job for today.
So what to do about it?
When the feeling comes, then don't give way immediately. As I said, you don't have to force yourself to stick it out on and on and on. But when that impulse comes very quickly that, oh, that's good enough, then you see that and you don't take it serious and you continue just being there. And if it's not possible, if the thoughts pull you too much away, then redirect the attention back to the breath and bring it back. Don't give immediately way to every little whim that comes from the head, but at the same time, need not think now I have to try to force myself to stay in it, to stay like this for God knows how long time. Find for yourself how much it's reasonable, how much it's really constructive, that you are disciplining yourself a bit, and that you also say, okay, now it's really time to get up and feel again the body while moving and stuff.
Are there certain degrees of presence? Like when you talked in the beginning, I thought, oh, for me, it's very difficult when I'm like, for example, very nervous or so, to really get present. I mean,
Yeah.
like for a lot of times when I have to fly, I get nervous before it, not really anxious, but nervous. And and I realize the nervousness and I can breathe a little bit, but I cannot really relax very much. I'm just like, I get a little bit of presence, but it's very different from when I really deeply relax and breathe out. The breathing out really, the tension stays in a way.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that there are degrees of presence. Presence is presence, but there are different intensities, how much we are connecting with that. And right, when we are afraid, when we are nervous, then you can still be somewhat present, but then the attention is also very much pulled on that emotional and mental level. And there it may help that you say, okay, Just redirect the attention and breathe. Breathe and relax.
Yeah, but yeah, if the nervousness is because of an outside situation, I only relax to a certain degree.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, before entering the plane, I never get completely relaxed. I mean, sometimes I'm relaxed anyway, but if I'm not, then I can't make, by effort, I can't make very much difference, big
You
difference.
cannot really make an effort to relax. That's true. You can make a little effort to redirect the attention from all the things that make you nervous, and then breathe and relax as good as you can. But if you bring the attention again, if you redirect the attention from the ideas, oh, maybe this is difficult, and maybe that is complicated, and there I'm going to fly, and and all this stuff. When you redirect the attention to simply breathing, then relaxation also comes much easier than when we stick on that mental, emotional level and turn it round and round and round.
I'm always looking, is there, as you know, I always want to verify my experience. And so I always look, is there a certain characteristics by which I can tell that that I'm present? But it's not, this is already a disturbance, right?
This already is again playing the same mind game. You are present. And if you bring the attention back to that, then that is right. And no questioning whether it's right or wrong. And when the attention is flowing off, you'll find a mean to come back home and relax as good as you can. Sometimes it's happening easy, sometimes it's not happening at all easy, but still the very attempt to connect, the very attempt to redirect the attention and relax makes a total difference to your experience where you are at.
Yeah. Yeah, when you say it makes a total difference to my experience, I expect something special to happen in a way. And as where I'm right now, it doesn't feel so special. It feels like, okay, I'm here now and I'm open and listen to what is, but it's not more than that. It's not like, oh, there's now, yeah. In meditation, sometimes I feel it feels a little bit more special. I feel really present and right there. But in my daily life, it's not so much a special quality.
I got another question here.
Okay.
Shall we leave it at that?
Okay. Yes, that's perfectly fine.
Yes, right. Anyhow, you continue. Just be alert. And when you catch yourself on your habitual mental truck, then let it go. And just be and breathe and relax and feel instead of think.
It's very sticky.
It's very sticky, but it can go. All right, Anita wrote, what do you mean by going beyond the personality? Actually, the personality is not what we are. The personality is just the habitual way how we are interpreting ourselves. You are already beyond the personality. You are the essence that makes that experience possible. And this personality is just the role that we gotten used to play in the theater of this world. This personality that we can look back and has a whole story how growing up and how being educated and how formed, and then we identify with that little aspect of ourselves instead of being aware prior to all that what I think is me, There is that sense of presence that is so vast, that there is so infinitely more than that little personality that we are creating and recreating in our mind, and along with that creation create that sense of separation, that there is that me and there are the others, and there is that separation. Going beyond the personality means just becoming aware that there is so much more than that personality that creates the separation is something that I have gotten used to and create in the mind. And if I'm not doing it, then actually that personality is not there. But you are there. You are there. That divine being that is making this whole experience possible.
Yes, thank you. And you know why I came to this question, because you just said it, that I have a book from Ramana Maharshi. It says, "Be who you are."
Yes.
Or be what you are. I don't know, you know, in German.
Doesn't
like,
matter.
And what you just said, I totally get that, and at the same time, that was for me in the past. Now, not really anymore. It was a dilemma in that sense, because living in this life, the daily life, there is an interaction and there is a persona. And I found out that if I leave away this personality that is got conditioned and got me all, you know, like tensed up, when I relax, I'm in the here and now, there still is a personality. Like there's a way how it's moving through me, and how, you know, like the way of being in the world. I mean, being beyond personality, that would be like being like no mind and nothing. But you know, I'm moving, I'm playing, I'm interacting, and so there for me there is I could call it a real personality, or pure personality, like how I entered this world, maybe, you know, with some certain traits and also gifts, and everybody has a special gift how to communicate and how to be, and that is for me the difference. The one is this cranked up, mindy, lost, tense, fearful, and everything, and the other is the really, like you always say, also the relaxed. But still, for me, there's like the personality is still like shining. You know what I mean? Maybe that's not the right word, but in order to live in this world, there gonna be some ideas, and you know what I mean? Like,
yes, right. The thing is, of course, you are that essential divine being, essentially one with everything, and yet in that oneness there is that being that you are, and is unique, and so will express that one essence in its own unique way. When I talk about the personality, then I mean really that persona that we are creating, that is totally the role that creates also the sense of separation. If that sense of separation starts to disappear and you just spontaneously express yourself on this level in your own unique way, then I'm not calling this the person anymore. And you call it the persona, okay, it's just different words, but it's then your being is expressing itself, herself. Yeah. And then there doesn't come the sense of separation, and then it doesn't create any problem. The problem comes when it's me and the others and all the yin yang to and fro between all those persons. But if it's just you are playing your role, you see, okay, temporarily appearing in a human form and playing your role, but you're not creating that me others struggle, then there is no problem. Right.
Yes, right. Yeah, yeah. For me, there was what for quite some time like a big issue to. So I'm nothing. I'm nobody, and how to, you know, how to move, how to be at all, and slowly I learned to just really be here now, and it's just coming through, you know.
Right. Just be. And then be, when Ramana says be who you are, then it doesn't mean be that bickering personality, but it doesn't mean that you have to somehow estrange yourself how you naturally express yourself. Right. Shall we leave it at that?
Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om. All right. We'll stop the satsang with this for today. May we leave all in that awareness who we are. Actually, when Ramana Maharshi says such a thing, he doesn't think that we have to figure out who I am, meaning figuring out what is my real personality. It simply means that we just bring the attention back to that essence and learn to let that express itself in a harmonious, beautiful way. I wish you all well. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.